Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Ndibuo. I'll be taking you through the last session of the day. Appendices, referencing and other tools to enable you to your research. So, I don't know, Grace, if this is if this was a coincidence or it was an intention to actually put this session to be the last, because if you think about it, these sections come at the end of whatever scientific research that you're doing, dissertation, your paper. So on the dissertation, it's going to be a reference and appendix. Paper, reference, and supplementary materials, if you do have supplementary materials. Okay. So I'll take you through this. I'll tell you the purpose, and then the appendix and the importance of having an appendix, referencing, and the rest. Okay. So the purpose of this is to give guidance on effective use of appendices, reference, and scientific writing tools that I'll share. So I decided not to go back to the scientific writing tools, because ever since we started here, since Monday until today, like I think we've shared a lot. ChatGPT, Dr. Aka shared some that I don't know. I need that presentation. So I think here we've shared enough writing tools that you guys need actually to help you complete your studies. Because the things like you don't want to be bombarded with too much information that you end up not going to use, so it's pointless. Okay. So what exactly is an appendix? So this is just a session at the end of your paper that provides supplementary material. So when we talk about supplementary material, is that data that you don't have to put into the body of your paper, but at the same time it is important. For example, let's say you have like so many figures, and then when you have so many figures, the journal doesn't want you to add those many figures. Dr. Ella was mentioning that some journals will actually limit you maybe to 4 figures. So those figures, if you know that they're important or they can supplement your work to make your work even stronger, you don't have to put them there into the body of your paper or your dissertation. You can actually put them as an appendix or as a supplementary material. So like I said, it enhances readers to actually understand your story. Okay, so I've already mentioned what you can put. So you can put like your raw data sets. Actually now journals are gonna require those the raw data, because so that we can avoid what do we call it, the fraud. People actually love cooking results. So they wanna see that the experience that you're actually presenting into your manuscript is actually the work that you've done through the raw data. Okay. Usually we put figures and tables as a chemist or material scientist, and then I heard that vets now is going to require everyone to do ethics clearance before they start their studies. So that part of ethics, it has to go at the end of your thesis or your dissertation when you're done. Okay. So the appendix, even if you have it, like let's say you have like when you have a TM, the most important part to show there is to show the figures, right? Like the image that shows your nanoparticles, right? But if like let's say you're doing spherical nanoparticles, you measure the sizes. When you measure the sizes, you draw your distribution curve. So that distribution curve, if you have a lot of figures, sometimes you can just not put it into the main body of your results and discussion. You take it where? To the appendix. But it doesn't mean that you can't say anything about it. You can't expect a person to have your supplementary material or your appendix at the end, but it's not mentioned about, like it's not talked about into the main body. So you must make sure that you cite the appendix. For example, for example here, like you say, okay, I'm gonna take it to the thing. So yeah, this is what I was saying. Like, okay, so you label the appendix as an appendix for the thesis, and then for the supplementary materials, you're gonna label it as a supplementary material. So you start appendix, it's advisable that you start appendix in each and every page. And then this is what I was talking about. I wanna show you something with my thesis. So this is how I did it. So you see, at the end of my thesis, this is an appendix, okay? So this appendix was all the figures in chapter 3 that I didn't put into the main body, but they were as important, so that I have to talk about them, but I can't put them in there because they're just gonna make my thesis or my discussion to be too big and then unnecessary, so which will actually even confuse sometimes the reader. So I just have to talk about it that, okay, this is this, and then I did this and this, and refer to appendix A into a supplementary material or into the appendix section. So in the body, in chapter 3, so this is what I did. Figure 3.1 shows the 10 micrographs of silver nanoparticles, and their particle size distribution are reported into that. So now when I'm talking about the sizes of my nanoparticles, right? If someone doesn't believe that these nanoparticles are 16 nanometers, they will have to go to my appendix and then check into my size distribution and then see if indeed the size, the particle size or the particle size is actually 16 nanometers. So that's where appendix is very important. It gives the information that is necessary to the reader, but it doesn't necessarily have to be shown into the body of the text. Okay. So that's just about it with appendix. So we go to the referencing. Okay. So even though referencing has to come at the end of your paper or your dissertation, referencing starts with, as soon as you start your research, referencing must start, otherwise you're going to lose yourself. So when you start writing your introduction, you start referencing immediately. The first sentence that you write, you have to start referencing. When you go to the results and discussion, the first sentence that you write, if like you need support from you want to support your claim, so what do you support it? What do you support it with? You support it with literature, and then to support it with literature, you have to credit the source where you find it. That's referencing. It happens as soon as you start your research. Referencing starts. It's a process. So when you talk about referencing, we're talking about crediting the original work. You credit the people who did the original work. So it consists of like two things: citation and the bibliography. Citation is when you're writing, you find the information from my paper, you have to say Shumbu et al. 2000 if you're using Harvard referencing, okay? Or if you're using like IEEE referencing style, you say 1 if like you got the information from my paper, okay? So that's citation. Then you go to the bibliography. Now in the bibliography, you give like the full information about my paper. My names, my co-authors' names, the title of the paper, the journal, and then all those things. I will show you when we go further. So the bibliography is just a list of all the sites or the citations that we've used in the in-text referencing. Okay, so this is how references should look like. So what happens is that actually, in referencing, you have so many styles. Like you have your Harvard, you have your Vancouver, IEEE, you have your APA. So when it comes to referencing nowadays, most especially in our field, you don't necessarily we don't really make fuss about the style that you use in terms of referencing, especially if you're writing your dissertation. So what matters is what your supervisor wants. If your supervisor wants you to use IEEE, you have to use IEEE. If they want you to use Harvard, you have to use Harvard, even in the papers. So most journals nowadays, they don't really tell you which style to use. They just say use whichever style that you want to use as long as you are consistent about it. Okay. So when we're referencing, like you can reference when you're writing a research article. You can reference what? Another research article. Okay. You can also reference a book. You can reference a website. So when you're referencing a journal article, this is one example that I gave about a journal article. So, and then also the most important information that must go into your bibliography. Okay. So the first one is the authors. Okay. You write the authors. After the authors, you come to the title of the article that you are referencing. Then the journal name. Some journals, they want you to actually abbreviate. So this is simple. You can just take this, put it on Google, and then ask Google to give you the abbreviation for this journal. You don't just abbreviate this yourself. This is standard. So each and every journal has its own abbreviated name. So you must use that. Then you have a year, you have a volume, and then an issue, and then you also have a page number. So that's you referencing a journal article. And then if you decide to use this style, you have to continue using this style. When I'm saying continue using this style, you see, this is the name, the surname, and then these are the initials. After initials, it's a comma. Same second author, surname, initial, a comma. This must be consistent, even if you have like 100 references. This must be consistent. Okay. So with the book, you also have the name of the author. You have the name of the book, and then you have the publisher's name. Okay. Website, you have the name of the thing, the title of the article on the website. You have the date that you accessed this article. I accessed this yesterday. See, so you must have this date where you accessed this, and then where do you access it? Online. And then after that, you give us the website. This is the website. So that I can just go and then click onto the website. I must be able to find an article that has this title. Okay. So this is how the bibliography or the referencing looks like. I've given you the first example, the second example. So they must go like this. If you're using IEEE, if in text you are using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Your bibliography should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? And then this reference number 2, it must actually coincide with the reference number 2 in text. Because sometimes I'm going to read a statement, right, in text, right, talking about hydrogen evolution reaction, right? But when I come and then it's reference number 2 in text, when I come, I take this reference number 2, I punch it on Google Scholar. I get a paper that is talking about silver nanoparticles. Researchers do that when they're lazy to actually referencing. And then they usually do this towards the end if they started their research without referencing at the same time. Because now you have to submit this report, you have to submit this dissertation, you have to submit this. So you end up just taking any references for the sake of you having references. And then these things we usually do. I just randomly, when I'm reading your dissertation, I just randomly go to the references, pick one reference, put it on Google Scholar, and then go check if whatever that this paper is talking about is what you actually cited in text. So you need to actually make sure that you have this in order. Okay, so the notes to take home, you should include all of this, you should include all in-text citation, organized alphabetically if you're using Harvard, okay? And then numeric if you're using Vancouver, if you're using IEEE, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And then you must always double check your references and then your bibliography, okay? So the common mistake is missing references. And then you find that in text, you have 50 references, but when you go to bibliography, you have 45 references. So those things you need to think, you need to actually take care of. And then also the incorrect author names. That thing is actually not ethical. You can't actually put my name wrong when you're referencing my article. You are not crediting me. My name should always be right, because now you're crediting someone else who didn't do the work, and then I'm the one who did the work. Okay. So inconsistent style. Okay. So you must make sure that whatever style that you adopt, use it throughout. As long as you have agreed with your supervisor, or as long as it's the one that is recommended by the journal. So you must make sure that all those things are consistent. Okay. So I want to go back here to the bibliography. Okay. If you're using Harvard, remember in Harvard you don't put 1, 2, 3. You put surname Shumbura and 2025, right? That's it, and then you go, right? But now when you come to bibliography, how do you do it? Now you have all 50 references that you have text, you've cited within your manuscript. But how do you do your bibliography? So you don't use 1, 2, 3, 4. What you do, you organize your references based on alphabetical order. It doesn't matter that Shumbula was the first reference to be cited. If Ndala is even if, like, let's say Ndala is the 45th reference, Ndala must go on top of mine. It doesn't matter whether mine was the first to be referenced in text. The alphabetical order is the one that you use when you're using Harvard, and then others that use this kind of style, where you put the surname and the year. Okay. So I just want to ask you one question before I read this, and then we start practical. Who can tell me what's wrong here with this bibliography? Just quick observation.
Yes. From what you just said, it's like
inconsistent. The first one and the second one.
Where?
So the author is.
She's okay. Can you give a chance?
Saying the author names in the first one, it's surname, initial, comma. But
Okay.
in the second one, it's surname, comma, initial, full stop, comma, which is inconsistent with the first one.
You see? You saw the first inconsistent? There. That's unacceptable. If you're using the first style, it must be that first style throughout. If you're using the second style, it must be that one throughout. Anyone who have observed another inconsistent? I only see two, but I'm sure they are not. Yeah.
in the year.
Let's see the year. So the year here is 2021. And then here, well, okay, what's wrong with the year?
The position there.
Yes. See, the other one is after the title, and then the other one is after the authors. Okay, another one?
The general name, the one is Italy, the other one, I think.
Exactly. Yo, you see, I didn't see those ones. You know, you must make sure. You must make sure. Okay. Another one. There's one that I think. Yeah.
In the first, the page numbers. Yeah,
The first reference.
the page numbers.
Page numbers.
Those, yeah.
Okay.
In front of the page.
Exactly. That's the one that I saw. Another one. Okay. So yeah, guys, like you get the gist, right? So just make sure that when you're doing your references, consistency is the key, because you don't want the journal or the editor to return your paper just because of the inconsistency of the reference. It's wasting your time. It's wasting other people's time. It's wasting your supervisor's time, because supervisors, they trust you with your work. They're just gonna read the content and then trust that you have actually done a good work with references, and then they just submit, and then it's being brought back just because of the references. So these are small things that you don't want them to waste your time. Okay, so here just made a table of some of the tools that you can actually use to help you with your research. Okay, so we do have Zotero. Zotero is free. You can use it to actually reference. Okay. We also have Mendeley. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Zotero and Mendeley. It's also a reference a manager. You have EndNote. It's also a reference manager, but EndNote, the problem is not free. it is to the university, or if you have money, you can subscribe to it, but it's expensive. At some point, Zakes once cracked it, but it's not legal to actually crack it because you're going to end up putting VETs into it. Okay? You can use Google Scholar to actually reference. You can use Grammarly. Grammarly is another tool that has been spoken about. This one just helps you with the grammar. SciSpace is another tool that I think the reason why Dr. Arthur didn't talk about it is it's a simple Nyana tool, man. It's not those fancy ones. So, SciSpace is summarize papers for you, right? If you have like a paper online, you can actually use SciSpace to summarize a paper for you. And then the other thing that you can do, guys, that actually I don't think I support people to do, it can write you a review paper. It can write you a whole review paper. It can analyze 150 papers in a space of 10 minutes and then take that papers, write a review. So that thing is just making the whole scientific community lazy. Yeah, if you want promotions and get professor like that, it's just okay, so yeah, and then ChatGPT and then others. So the green ones, right, guys? So I just want to quickly show you how this works. I'll show you Google Scholar referencing, Word, and then Mendeley quickly, okay? So you can switch on your laptops. Let's go to Google Scholar. Okay, guys, are we ready? 10 minutes. Okay, guys. So referencing using Google Scholar, the way I'm showing you now, it's very manual, right? So this is how you do it. You write, I wrote my first sentence there, and then I'm gonna type 1. See? Then you come and then you went to Google Scholar and then you cite it, okay? And then you realize like, no man, I have to reference here. So it will mean that this part here has to be referenced to. Now you have to do it manual. Now this has to be referenced to. And then when it's reference to, meaning that you have to change this to reference 3. You have to come back and then insert reference 2 here. And then this one become reference 3. You see, like you can end up confusing yourself. Imagine now, this is not 3, it's now reference 50. So you have to change all those numbers from reference 3, 4, 5, 6, you have to do it manually, okay? So, but if you don't mind doing this, you can do it, right? And then another style, okay, is there any question about this? This is very straightforward, simple, okay? Another style that I want to show you is the Word, right? So this is manual plus automated. So I'm going to Word, I'm going to my manuscript. I want to put a reference here. So what you do here, your thing will probably be here. So what you do, you come to references, okay? When you come to references, you insert citation, and then you add new source, okay? So here, this is the manual part of it now. So you're gonna have to add authors. You come to edit, add the last name of the author, the first name of the author, then you add, okay? Then if it's only one author, let's assume it's that, and then you're done. Then the title, the general name, the year, pages, volume, issue. Okay, the manual part is done. When you're done here, and then you say, okay, you see, it gave you 1 automatically. You didn't have to put that 1. It gave you 1 automatically, okay? Then you do reference number 2. Then when you're done, okay, let's do another one, reference number 2. add citation, add new source, you do the same thing. Name, first name, and then you add, you say okay, then save, and then see, it gives you 2 there. That's your reference number 2. Okay, now you're done. The nice thing with this, like if you forget that, oh, here you're supposed to put a reference, it actually gonna update for you, but to add the reference is manual, which is time consuming. Okay, and then you add, you say okay, then okay, update, and then so this will also update. So okay, let's just thank you. It's not working. Let me just citation, and new source.
Yeah, no, I think,
Okay.
sorry,
Yeah.
that part is important, the one that you deleted. Can
Yes.
we please also try find out how you can
Oh,
insert
yes,
the
yes.
second instead of removing it?
Yes, I want to think like the number 2 is there. The number 2 is still there. I want it to update, and number 2 is here now. I want to see if I can
Or
put
it's
number 2
still
here.
is somewhere on
Yes,
the
yes,
reference?
yes.
Okay.
And then oh yeah, and another thing that I didn't show you here, you have to actually stipulate if it's a book chapter, or a journal article. Okay, so
But all those things, they will come
Yes.
in a certain order on the reference list.
yes,
Is it the order that one will want, or they will come now randomly according to the way you put the numbers or the
Yes.
details?
how do I refresh? So there's to, like, I forgot where to refresh, but it will update. Okay, so let's go to bibliography. So when you do your bibliography, you're gonna come here, and then you come bibliography. You see here the style. I chose IEEE because it used numeric, and I want numeric. Okay, and then I do bibliography, and then this is the style, like you choose which type of bibliography you want. Okay, so when you come here, drop down, and then you give it these different styles of bibliography. You choose which one you want, and then let's do this one. See, so you have all your references: reference 1, reference 2, reference 3, reference 4. So you get it. I'm trying to run. I have 10 minutes. I want to do the automatic one. Okay, so you saw how to do it on Word. It's simple, just that it has that manual part where you have to put references by yourself. Okay. Then so I'm just gonna delete all this. So now there's Mendeley. Those of you who use Mendeley here, or who have ever used it, okay. All right, so those of you who don't know Mendeley, you just go to your Google. Do you have just go to your Google now and then download Mendeley. Okay, so when you download Mendeley, it give you a part where you put a library of references. So what I do, I downloaded my Mendeley. So here's my Mendeley. So when I click here, how many minutes? Okay. So when I click to that Mendeley, it take me straight to my library, right? So all the papers that you want to reference, you can download them, right? Put them in a folder, and then what you can do, you come and then add, right? File from computer, okay? And then I'll just go add one of my paper. I don't know. Okay. Where should I get my paper? See. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna add this. Okay, so that paper is added as a Kanban board. Okay, so that's the paper that I want to reference. So now what you do, you go to your Word, you actually add Mendeley as an add-in. So after downloading Mendeley, you come here. So in other Word files, usually you have to come to insert. So when you go to insert, it will actually give you this thing here, add-in. Okay, then when you click add-in, you see it will show you the add-in that you have in your Word, and then it will show you the other add-ins that you don't have. So Mendeley should appear here, and then you add Mendeley as what? As an add-in. So when you're done adding Mendeley as an add-in, you click on it. You see now it's on the side of my Word document. Okay, so now all those papers that you see here in my library here, they are here, they are all here. They are all here. So what you do, I want to reference, let's say this part here. So I just come here and then click here, and then when I click here, I insert citation. It's there, one. Okay, and then I want to now reference this, and I know which paper I want to reference, and then this is the paper that I want to reference. Click, and then if I want to reference two papers here, I click this again, and then you have two, and then you insert. Now you have 2 to 3. Get it? So you do that, like all your papers will be in the library. Okay, so let's say now the paper is not in the library. The paper is on Google Scholar. You're reading on Google Scholar. You can still do the same. You just have to come to Google Scholar. Make sure that Mendeley is added on your extensions, right? You should be able to do that. You just come here and then add extensions. Mendeley will come here, and then you add it. As when you download it, on that download file, it will ask you if you want to add Mendeley as an extension. You must add it to a Chrome extension. So what you can do again, I can open this paper. After opening this paper, open access. So I can open my Mendeley. After here or here, I can open my Mendeley. Okay, so here's the paper. Okay, so this paper is already ticked. I can just add it to Mendeley. So automatically it's going to go to my library. Whether I'm online or I'm offline, it's going to go to the library. And then the nice thing with Mendeley, it also suggests some of the papers similar to the paper that you are reading. The most important thing here is to actually open the paper and then read and then see if they actually giving you information that you actually need for that specific paper. Is it worth citing? And then it also increase your library, more information. Okay, so if you want to add it, you can just click. Let's say they are all relevant to your work, and then you add them to Mendeley. Okay, but it's important that you read these papers. You don't just want to cite papers that you didn't read, because now you are giving a person credit for nothing. So you shouldn't do that. But citations are important. Citations are the ones that makes people get promotions at work. Imagine now you are helping a person to get promoted for nothing. So you shouldn't do that. Okay, so now you're done. You have added those papers on your library. You go back to your Word and then place the cursor where you want this to come. Okay, and then you select, and then you add a citation. Okay, now you're done. You have all your in-text citations. Let's delete this. So you come. You write your bibliography, and then you come to Mendeley. Okay, you click these 3 dots here, and then you insert bibliography. Okay, and then you continue. Here you are. You have your bibliography. But sometimes this bibliography might come in a way that you don't want. So you have a thing. You can still go to the settings and then change the referencing style. If you don't want IEEE, you can use Vancouver. You can use all these other referencing styles, and then you update, and then it will update as you update. Okay, so the tricky thing with Mendeley, when you're done, like more especially when you have a lot of data and a lot of references, it sometimes loses the consistency. So now at least it did all the job. In-text referencing, it gave you the bibliography. So what you need to do, at least go back to your bibliography and then check if everything is in order, if there's any consistency. If Mendeley, sometimes it can give you the DOIs. If you don't really need DOIs, you can even delete them. Okay, because the tricky thing with DOIs is going to give you DOIs in other papers, and then it's not going to give you in other papers, meaning that now you're losing consistency. So what you have to do, delete the DOIs where thing on the papers that have DOIs, so that you maintain the consistency of your referencing. So as far as referencing and appendix is concerned, yeah, I will end here, and then yeah, I will take questions. Yes, you can do that manually. But as long as you're not gonna update again, because if you update, it's gonna come back. Doc.
Can you load these references again?
Yeah?
Like the final part where you loaded it?
This.
Yes, can you reload? Like you loaded it. Like can you reload?
Okay.
Where did you go?
So I come here. So it's all this reference that I was adding here now. So I come here to the library and then add, and then go to computer.
No, not that part.
Okay.
Yes, that's the final when you
Or
load
the
it to
or
other
from
bibliography.
or when
From Mendeley to.
no, I was adding them from Google Scholar.
I saw that part.
Okay.
Like the final one where they come under bibliography.
Okay.
You see?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is and then
So
just create bibliography.
before I create bibliography.
This one, the last one, and not on top on the text itself.
Okay. This one.
Yes.
Or where I got the bibliography.
Yes, it's already written 1, 2, 3 on top.
Yes.
And then for it to come under bibliography.
Oh no, I come here and then I insert bibliography.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the part it was the first. By the time
Oh.
I blinked, I think I blinked and it was already.
No. Yeah, she's kicking me out. Okay. You're answered.
Yes.
Eh, How is that one done? I don't know. Usually I see that on the papers that are already published, where you click on the thing. But on Word, I've never seen such.
Yeah, so it depends on the publication, the journal, and also I think PDF it has that option.
Option,
And
okay.
it does automatically. You don't even be pressing. So
Yes.
sometimes if your document is written and you put it, you save it under PDF, it kind of summarizes the sections and also put the references according to the number. You click on the number, automatically takes you to the
Say so.
You said? Like in Word, I don't know if there's a something that.
Yeah? The appendix? No, it's your work. Yes, because if you're writing a paper, it's all your work, isn't it? Unless if you're using Zex data to write your paper. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I get confused sometimes. Let's say I'm reading a paper, right?
Yes.
And then there's a citation mark, like there's a line inside of them. So who do I cite in my article? Do I go to the original paper that was cited? Or can I just cite the paper that I'm citing that paper?
No, like you're reading and then they cited someone, and then that information is of interest to you. Yeah, you you have to cite the original guy here. So researchers here, they do have different views, but in my view, right, I'm gonna go to the original work, credit the original work, right? But at the same time, I need to credit the guys who brought me this original work because I didn't find this work before. So I'll rather credit both. And then also, when you cite two papers, like it also shows that you've actually did your research. This kind of information, you didn't just got it from one paper and then you trusted that. You actually went deep to actually see if other people have actually done this or they're saying the same thing, and then you give them credit.
So does the order matter?
No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Dr. Arthur, before?
Sure. I think what I found it's easier when you have somebody who's like the originator of the words, and then you find that somebody else cited that work, but you already found that the second reference, you can simply say from the first paper is cited by the second person. So from original people is cited by whoever it is that you're working on. In effect, you're actually crediting them, but you're still acknowledging the fact that this is what
Yeah. So that's now playing around with like wording now, the way you construct your sentences.
So if you're saying from and then cited by, do you still also looking for
Yeah, I want to say from that paper that is saying from, it must be cited. Doc?
But I just wanted to add to that. But there's some sort of originality from the person who copied from the original. So there's some thoughts that the person who actually sent you to the original paper came up with that you have to collect first. If that's the thoughts that you need, then you don't need to cite the original paper in that case. Suppose that there's someone who's reviewing perovskite solar cells, and they are saying, no, there's this type of perovskite that have been studied for long by many authors, and they found this, they found this.
Yes.
Now they give the stance or the opinion now. They say, no, in our case, we think that even if you can improve the efficiency of perovskite solar cells, you can still see that, no, the price is even quadruple or go tenfold. So there's no need for you to go through that. So if you want to take the idea of that person who is reviewing, saying that there's no need to follow such efficiency, then there's no need to go
Yes.
to the original.
So yeah, this comes where like is in the discussion.
Yeah.
You want to support your claim
Yeah.
with something similar that has been done.
Yes.
Right. So that person is supporting their claim with something similar that has been done. In that case, yes, you can cite this person. But like, let's say it's an information that is general in the introduction or when you're doing a review. So I feel like it's important that you actually credit the person who brought you the information,
yes,
and then also the original work. But in the discussion, yes, I agree with Dr. Pierre here that just take the current information, that if it's actually the one you're looking for, just take that current information and then cite the thing, the new paper.
Maybe you can advise here